What is up, Star Wars fans? This is Darth Watson. In this video, we're going to be talking about The Mandalorian Season 4 possibility and why it is still possible for The Mandalorian Season 4 to eventually happen. And the reason why is because the actor who portrayed Moff Gideon, which is Giancarlo Esposito, is helpful for the outlook of Mandalorian Season 4, while emphasizing that the Star Wars focus is for the upcoming Star Wars movie, which is the Mandalorian and Grogu Star Wars movie. So it looks like that the actor who portrayed Moff Gideon is hopeful for Mandalorian Season 4. Also, Giancarlo Esposito is not so convinced that his character Moff Gideon is dead. And another reason why to believe that Season 4 is still in the possibilities is because Jon Favreau has confirmed that he has written it already. And the fact that the Mandalorian and Grogu Star Wars movie, which I just read up on the other day, and it's about the Mandalorian and Grogu Star Wars movie always being in the works since 2020. I mean, I don't know how much of that is true, but it sounds like it's true based on the idea of what Pedro Pascal always imagining of the Mandalorian series, basically ending with the Mandalorian movie being in a official Star Wars movie. And that's what Pedro Pascal has said not too long ago. But as far as Season 4 being in the possibilities, it's definitely in the possibilities. And the reason why is because Jon Favreau is basically has all of the seasons written already. Season 1, Season 2, Season 3, and Season 4. Season 4 is already written already, and Jon Favreau feels like we have to know where we're going. Now, I know Carl Weathers' death had a big play into Season 4, ended up being replaced with the Mandalorian and Grogu Star Wars movie because we were originally supposed to get Season 4 shortened by 6 episodes. And that was in a leak from StarWars.net, which is pretty reliable. We were supposed to get 6 episodes of The Mandalorian Season 4, and The Mandalorian and Grogu Star Wars movie would be telling the finale of The Mandalorian Season 4, but it looks like that's no longer the case due to Carl Weathers' death, who played Chief Garga in the Mandalorian series. So I have a feeling that Season 4 is taken off the schedule to be reworked. But I still think it's eventually going to happen, and I still think it's eventually going to happen after the Mandalorian and Grogu Star Wars movie. And if it's going to happen after the Mandalorian and Grogu Star Wars movie, and now it's sounding more and more likely, it's looking like that it'll be announced right before the Mandalorian and Grogu Star Wars movie comes out that there is still going to be a Season 4. And if Season 4 happens, it'll be likely leading up to the events of the Mandalorian and Grogu Star Wars movie. And the Mandalorian and Grogu Star Wars movie, which makes the most sense to me, would be tying into all 4 seasons of The Mandalorian. And it will tie everything together as one big story of The Mandalorian, but it's just a conclusion to the Mandalorian series. It's not a conclusion to the entire Mandoverse. It's not the first movie of a trilogy, because I firmly believe that Dave Filoni has a plan for his own Star Wars trilogy, not just his Star Wars film, which will be tying into all the Mandoverse, but it kind of proves it with Ahsoka Season 1, where Ahsoka Season 1 set up Thrawn's return as heir to the Empire. But if Dave Filoni's Star Wars movie is not the first of his trilogy, and he has no plans for a trilogy, then the whole movie would be the entire Thrawn trilogy itself, where the first act is heir to the Empire, the second act is Dark Forces Rising, and the third act is The Last Command. And it's going to be either one movie is the entire canon version of the Thrawn trilogy, or it's going to be a trilogy of movies that will be a new Thrawn trilogy, where Dave Filoni's first Star Wars movie would be called Heir to the Empire, and he would announce the other 2 movies right before that movie comes out, about Dark Forces Rising and The Last Command. But either way, I have a feeling that Dave Filoni is trying to retell a new version of the Thrawn trilogy, and Ahsoka Season 1 quite proves it when it has Thrawn's return as heir to the Empire. And it also proves that because of Ahsoka Season 2 having to happen before Dave Filoni's Star Wars movie, which is more proof that Thrawn is going to be the heir to the... Well, Thrawn is already the heir to the Empire, but that Thrawn is going to be in Dave Filoni's Star Wars movie, and Dave Filoni's Star Wars movie would be called Heir to the Empire, or it's going to be or the whole movie's going to be a Thrawn trilogy itself. And with all of that, like, Dave Filoni is clearly trying to retell a new version of the Thrawn trilogy. But back to The Mandalorian Season 4 being a possibility, I still think it's a possibility, and if they were to throw out Mandalorian Season 4, and the other reason why I believe that The Mandalorian Season 4 is still a possibility is because the Mandalorian series is the most popular series on Disney Plus, and it's still the biggest moneymaker on Disney Plus. And there's no way that Disney and Lucasfilm would substitute the biggest moneymaker on Disney Plus and turn those all into Star Wars movies, or just replace the entire season with the Mandalorian and Grogu Star Wars movie as a substitute to the continuing Mandalorian series. It just doesn't make sense for them to do it that way, especially when Jon Favreau has already written Season 4 already, and Season 4 and the Mandalorian series is basically the biggest moneymaker on Disney Plus. So it's definitely a possibility that is definitely still a possibility that Season 4 will eventually happen, but likely will not happen until after the Mandalorian and Grogu Star Wars movie. And the Mandalorian and Grogu Star Wars movie is pretty much like the conclusion of the Mandalorian series. But anyways, that's all I have to say for this video. Do make sure to smash a like, subscribe, comment, and I will catch you all later in another video.